Candida-infected person is a candidate for AIDS?
No, no, the only way you get AIDS is the exchange of body fluids either by needles or by sexual practices.
Okay, may I ask this though? In the study of AIDS people that we now know of,
Yes.
is there any kind of history of Candida infection in any of them, noticeably? Has it been reported?
Not that I know of, not that I know of. In other words, you have to get the virus by the sexual practices or by intravenous drug things, but once you get the virus, whether or not it is going to give you the disease or not, whether it's the AIDS virus or the EB virus or some other virus, depends on the strength of your immune system.
You're going down to talk to some people in Ottawa. Do you ever talk to your colleagues at universities and so on, medical schools?
I have presented this yeast storage at 12 different medical schools, including Johns Hopkins. I'm an alumnus.
Did you ever get thrown out?
No. Now, I have had a big verbal rotten tomato. I've had some small verbal tomatoes, like one doctor said, Dr. Crook, do you have any double-blind studies?
Yes.
And I said, no, sir. I'm hoping by reporting these things to you, you will do them. Another physician at the University of South Florida got up in all his majesty, and he said, all you have is anecdotal data, meaning the stories of patients, and you have no scientific proof. I have a document from the United States Congress, 1978, saying that only 15% of the currently used medical treatments in our medical centers have been proved scientifically, whether it's open heart surgery or the use of a lot of the other drugs that we use.
Chemotherapy.
Yes. But what a person is not up on, they're down on, and it is always threatening to a physician for a patient to know more about a subject than he does. And a lot of people know more about this yeast relationship than their doctors.
Nevertheless, though, clearly it's incumbent, isn't it, on you to have the scientific double-blind study, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes, and this foundation that we talked about has two goals. One is to form a roster of physicians who know about the problem, and two, to raise money to support research. And Dr. Truss is doing research in Birmingham, and our foundation has contributed money to it. So we think the research will catch up. But so many people out there have the problem, the treatment is so safe, that we cannot wait the person with severe depression and some of the other things.
That's the ethical question, isn't it?
Yes.
I got to ask you, though, because the business of your getting hit in the head with a tomato, I mean, this comes screaming out at me from page 312 in the book, the tomato effect.
Yes.
The rejection of highly efficacious therapy. Tell me about the tomato effect.
All right. Two University of New Mexico physicians in the Journal of the American Medical Association tell the story about tomatoes. They were introduced into Europe from Peru in the early 1500s. They quickly spread from Spain to France to Italy. Everybody in Europe ate tomatoes. Nobody in America ate tomatoes. You know why? They thought they were poisonous. Not until about 1825, and Robert Gibbon Johnson stood on the courthouse steps in some town in New Jersey, and he ate 3 tomatoes, and guess what happened?
He didn't die.
He said, good. But still, it took until the 1900s for tomatoes to be eaten in this country. Now, these doctors use this story to say that many effective treatments are rejected by the establishment because they don't know how or why they work. They said that they rely more on a lot of complicated lab studies, and they conclude in judging whether or not you use a particular treatment. 3 things. Number 1, is it safe? What does it cost? And does it work? Those 3 things. Is it safe? What does it cost? And does it work? So we're talking about using garlic, acidophilus, and the safest medicine in the whole diet book, and a good diet to people who are depressed, suicidally depressed, and PMS, and when a doctor rejects it, it's the tomato effect.
You're on the air. Where are you calling from, please?
Yes, I'm calling from Ottawa.
Go ahead, from Ottawa.
Yes. My question is there a connection between the yeast infection and the formation and growth of uterine fibroids?
Carolyn?
I don't know. I haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I didn't turn to Bill soon enough for that one. No.
No, I haven't heard of this. I think that is coincidental.
Okay.
Thank you.
See if we can get another call in here. Hello, where are you calling from, please?
Mississauga.
You're on the air from Mississauga.
Yes, thank you. I have a number of these symptoms, and I have had for years recurring vaginal infection, depression, things of that nature. And I went to a doctor who practices Nishi medicine. Well, he's not actually a doctor, but he's from Korea. And he's put me on this program that whereby I take a small dosage of milk of magnesia every day, up to 6 coffee spoons on the 6th day, and then 6 up till about the 20th day, and tapering back down to 0. And he said that he felt my stomach, and my stomach has always been very sore and bloated, and he said I had very poor expulsion. And he said the milk of magnesia is the only thing that will penetrate the fecal deposits that have been encrusted on the intestinal wall from eating the wrong kind of food for years, because he said, because I don't get enough roughage, you don't have that sweeping action, so that this is why I have very poor expulsion. And the other short question was, will natural green bee pollen, granular bee pollen, have any detriment on yeast infection?
Okay, again,
You want to tackle this? You want me to?
Well, milk of magnesia, it sounds like it's being given as an enema or something laxative just to flush out the bowel. That's probably the first part of the treatment. I haven't used that myself. What I was thinking about your Capricin statement. What I tend to tell people when they're being treated for yeast is to use a lot of Metamucil or psyllium seed, which is a gelling, bulking agent that doesn't have a propulsive effect on the bowel, just a bulking effect. And that's used to stop any constipation, and with the Capricin especially, to hold the Capricin in the bowel long enough to kill the yeast and then take it out. I would hope the doctor, well, I shouldn't make any further comment.
Now, your symptoms other than the constipation and sore abdomen were PMS and recurrent vaginitis?
I think she might be listening to us on the air rather than on
Well, I think that she needs a lot more than taking laxatives to clean her bowels out. Now, I do agree, and there are good studies from Africa, that people need to have what we call increased transit time, that they need to have the bowels cleaned out. But taking a laxative alone, and as far as bee pollen, I have no experience with that. I cannot comment.
Okay, let's get on to another call if we can. Hello, you're on the air. Where are you calling from? Quickly, please.
From Oakville. I'm a brand new mother with yeast infection. I have a baby in the hospital. She's had bacterial meningitis and whooping cough. She got over the bacterial meningitis. Now she's in for whooping cough. You talked about suppression of the immune system. Could my yeast infection be her problem? Could I have transmitted it to her?
Yeah. We do know that the yeast can be transmitted through the vagina, through the birth canal to a baby in the mouth. Now, whether or not a mother who's had yeast problems can weaken a baby's immune system, I do not know. That has not been established. I think if your infant has had meningitis and taken a lot of antibiotic drugs, I would certainly recommend that some nystatin be given along to slow down the growth of the yeast. I think your baby obviously has had to take antibiotic drugs, which I'm sure may have been life-saving, but I think anti-yeast treatment would be important. But don't blame yourself. I do think your yeast needs to be treated, but I cannot think we can incriminate your vaginal yeast infection to your baby's illness.
What'd you have for lunch today, Carol?
Curried chicken with rice.
Would you recommend that, curried chicken and rice?
Oh, I think that's fine. I think that's great.
It sounds great. I wish I'd been there.
Don't ask me what I had. I was on the airlines all day.
Oh, listen. And we know that you didn't have a lot of things, but in any event, I would like to thank our guest for being with us tonight, Dr. William Crook. Good of you to visit us from Tennessee. Y'all come back and see us again.
I certainly will, Harry. It's good to be here. Have a little sunshine next time.
Oh, well, we'll do the best we can. Dr. Carolyn Dean, now that we know where you are, we'll be in touch regularly. Thank you very much. Nice to talk to you.